Well, good evening, and I don't want to waste too much time with this whole thing. We're going to be talking about how to start your own daddy daycare for profit. And one of the things that my wife and I have done over the last 20 years has been pretty successful in terms of starting our own business. And let me just say this: 90% of the businesses that are opening fail within the first 5 years. Most businesses do fail. But I'm going to talk about a business that doesn't fail. And I want to kind of give this in well, we're going to be doing a live stream. And the reason we're doing a live stream is because, again, one, I'm lazy and don't feel like preparing a video. And then number two is that just in case somebody might be watching live stream and want to ask some questions, you can ask some questions while we're on here. And we won't be on here more than 30 minutes. I know that. It's 8:50 now, so we'll probably be ending in a very short time. But again, when I come down to talking about this, the reason we're talking about this is because this channel is dedicated, called Beyond Foreclosed Doors. And it's dedicated to people who are going through struggling situations and lack of finances, lack of, you've been through some things, you've lost some things, and so you want to rebuild again. I did a video just the other day, and it made me think about rebuilding. And when I talked about rebuilding, I was talking about it and from a perspective of my own personal experience. My wife and I, we both went through that same thing that everybody else went through in 2020. We lost everything. But then we came back, and we were able to come back strong because we had experience in the childcare business, and it was something that we were able to do to preserve ourselves. Me being a former teacher and her being in former public school, and then also we are both also been in administration. Both of us were in public school administration, and we've also had our own school, and we ran our own school for more than 24 years. So I can tell you from experience, both in the public and the private sector, what is necessary in order to, start your own school. Well, okay, so we all, why am I calling this Daddy Daycare? Well, Daddy Daycare, if you remember the movie, this is the way it was run. The movie was, let's get rid of this music here. Let's see if we can get rid of the background and the music there. The movie in Daddy Daycare, when they were doing Daddy Daycare, the whole idea was that a man was without work, and then by being without work, he didn't have any income. So the idea came to him by watching a lot of the different housewives and the women that he was being able to see during the day, because obviously he wasn't at work. It came to him that, okay, why don't I start a little drop-off service at my house and have people to drop their children off at my house, and then I would take care of them. Well, one thing led to another, and more parents began to come to him as they discovered that he was in the neighborhood, and they did want to take their child to a place where they can have fun all day. And it turned out to be a very fun movie, and a funny one is at that. But I would say, Daddy Daycare, it was, even though it was kind of unrealistic, it still had a grain of truth, more than a grain of truth. It had a lot of truth to it, that you can become very profitable starting a childcare business. And a lot of people do not want to think about that. You say children, I don't know. But if you have enough help, you can become very profitable. But again, in the Daddy Daycare movie, he started out with no help at all. He just kind of started by himself. Then he brought his friend on, and he brought another friend. And then pretty soon there was a lady there working with him. And he was building staff up on staff. Now, I'll tell you our story. Our story is very similar. Only it wasn't me that was starting. It was my wife. My wife started while I was working as the principal in St. Louis. She took children into a building that we had rented. And we had only rented this building to have service on Sunday. And during the day, that building was pretty much closed. So, at first she was bringing people to the house, and then she decided, once we had that building, that she would bring them to the building. I was really amazed because, she started out with just a few kids. And then after that, it went from one person to another, to another, to another. And eventually the ball was rolling because parents hear about these things and they want to take their children someplace where it's safe and it's fun. So let's just talk about some of the profitability that you can make when it comes down to this. Well, the average child care center is running somewhere between $900 to $1,200 a month for one child alone. And if you multiplied that and you took that and just multiplied it, or you even took and decided that you were going to use ChatGPT to multiply that and use that as your basis for coming up with the numbers, you can see how it'd be easy for you to make well over $30,000 to $40,000 a month, and that's being very conservative with a moderate number of children, and maybe two to four teachers. So as you get into these numbers, you see that, okay, it becomes something that is very lucrative. But here's the thing: you shouldn't go into it unless you have a purpose and a mission. Now, for us, we've had a mission, and we're Christians, and obviously we want Christ to be exalted. So for us, that was the driving force behind us bringing children into the facility, because we just wanted to use the facility as a Christian facility. Now, here's the thing about a Christian facility: if you're running a Christian facility, then you do not need to have license as long as the children are age 3. And in terms of licensing for the state. But if you're going to run a daycare, then you would have to go through the research in order to do the license. But either way, they are small hurdles compared to the large demand for that particular service. Because let's face it, people are having children all the time, and that's something that's going to be happening all the time. It's just like hospitals. Hospitals are necessary, and child care centers are necessary. As long as parents work, there's always going to be a need for child care centers. So you need to check maybe into the licensing requirement in your state. I would think that would be the most important thing. Do the research in your state to find out what's necessary. But again, as we talk about this, that's a very small fee to pay for a big success. Now, why am I talking about this? I'm telling you this because we have had the success in the child care industry. We have had lots of success, and we've been able to make hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, perhaps even millions of dollars over the years, right? So when it comes down to it, you guys, it's not about me, but it's about what you are able to do and how you're able to pull yourself up and pull yourself out of a situation where you're hopeless and you don't really know. Now, again, this channel is for people who are hopeless. Perhaps I had another person who was in real estate, and he was on just talking about real estate some time ago and investing in real estate. And so I'm just telling you from my perspective what we are doing in terms of to catch the windfall of situations when you no longer are required at your job, or maybe you have gone through some sort of crisis in your life, foreclosure or any other thing, how you can get back on your feet again. And so I think that's important for many people, because today, in today's society, you're going to have to be prepared for businesses to be shut down, and you're going to have to go with the ebb and flow of what's going on. Now, for us, childcare is going to be always there. So we're looking at an industry that's not going to go away. There may be some shifting in terms of childcare as people begin to lose their jobs, and as they begin to search for new jobs, and the the other kind of things that happen with AI is taking over, and so people are going to start working at home. But here's the thing I've discovered, that even when parents are working at home, they've been looking for childcare, because I've had several parents come in and say, well, I just can't get anything done with Johnny at home, or Johnny and Susie at home. So Johnny and Susie ended up having to go somewhere. So they bring them to us, and we will, keep them there during the day. So the first thing is research and planning. That's the first step. So write that down. You can write these things down. Before you start your school, you need to research and plan. Talk about where you want the site to be, how many children you want to have enrolled, and how much money you want to actually make from this, because it's important that you do talk about money, even though the message of the institution is much more important. Ours was, again, to exalt the name of Jesus Christ, to let kids know about Christ. And so that was our primary goal. It wasn't really even to get any kind of income. So we charge far lower than any other center in our area. I mean, there are centers around us that are charging well over $1,200 a month to keep one child. That just seems to me like a whole lot of money. But at the same time, you have to hire staff, and you have to have a nice facility. So they have the building and ground and the staff to cover the expense, and also the resources, right? So again, you don't get any rewards for cutting yourself short, but I just want you to think about that. Make sure that you know what reason you're doing this. You might also want to survey some parents in your area, and you might do that by going to a PTA meeting and just having a discussion openly with the parents in your area about the needs that they have. Now, there are two different kinds of businesses when it comes down to the child care business. You can do well, there are actually three. You can do the preschool and the preschool only, or you can actually do the full daycare where you're taking care of infants all the way up. You don't have to do that, but there are centers that start out like that. And then the third one is that you can do the before and after care. So you have to choose which one you want to do. Now, the before and after care is what I wanted to talk about today. And I'm just going to talk about that, and I'm going to get out of your way. So we started, again, the child care center with the preschool, and it was more like a school. It's a Christian school where you teach children to read, and you teach them about the Bible and God's love, and that kind of thing. Then there's lunch break, and then there's play after that. And so we had a lot of success teaching children age 3 and 4 and 5 how to read, and they did very well in school. We've had a number of our children who have graduated from the school, who have came back very successful, and the girls are extremely successful. We've had doctors, we've had, dentists, we've had graduated when they were 4. Now they're up in age, and one of them's a doctor, one of them's a dentist, and then there are let's see, there's one that's working for the government, and many of them who went into the military. Others went into, the business sector. So we've had some success because, again, like I said, we've been running this for about 24 years. Um, and so before that, I was a school teacher, and then also principal at a school in St. Louis. So we had a lot of success in that area. We had a lot of knowledge from that, and that's why I'm able to pass this knowledge on to you. So again, the before and after is one of the best services that you can offer right now. If you're going to go into a service, and let's just say that you have a car or you have a van, and you want to pick some kids up after school, that is really a good service because it helps parents out. Many of the parents go off to work before their children are able to go to school. They have to catch the school bus, and the parents will have to go to work way before the children leave for the school bus, and so you have a mess. Children being left alone in the house by themselves, and that's why we come up with the term latchkey. And so also, a lot of the children are getting home before the parents from school, before the parents get home. So they are home alone, which causes a lot of like safety concerns for parents. So the before and after care is one of the best services that you can offer just to people. And let's just say that here's an outline of it. You're going to open from 6 to 8 a.m., and you're going to take children into your home or into your local church or into possibly even the school. You can go to the school and ask them if they want you to do this. And you can sit there from 6 to 8 before school starts, and you guarantee that you'll watch the children before school. And then after school, you can go there again from 3 to 6 p.m. Now you can charge anywhere between something like $300 to $400 per month per child for that. And again, as you see that if you got 10 children, 10 times that would be $3,000 right off the bat per month. If you had 10 children, if you had more than 10, you can have more than that. If you were charging 400, you can three times, that would be three times four would be 12. And that would be something like what you would be getting. So what I'm saying is that 10 times 3,000 would be, yeah, that would be, let's see, I'm running the numbers wrong. Yeah, 10 times with $3,000, right? So you would get about $3,000 per child for $300 per month. Let's see here. Let me just run that number again. Seems like I'm off on that. But anyway, like I said, you'd be running into the numbers. Somebody put the numbers in because I think I'm wrong about that. 300 times 10 children, right? So yeah, there's about $3,000 per month. And if you were running, and what did I say? I said that you were running something like 20 children, which the average one would be about $6,000 per month for just being there on the site, right? So if you were there on the site, you're not doing anything no more than just going there in the morning for 2 hours from 6 to 8, and then going there for 3 hours from 3 to 6, right? 4, 5, 6. So yeah, so you would be there on site, and that would be a blessing for people, right? And so that's a great blessing for, and again, on top of that, you would be making an income for that, so that's a blessing, right? It's just a major blessing when you think about that. So here's the thing you need to have. Here's some of the things you need. You do your research. You also are going to find out what the licensing requirements are, and you want to go to the state office and ask there. And just all you have to do is just call state office, Department of Education, and just start there and just begin to go down the line of different people that you need to ask. And again, basically, it's going to be where the license is going to be coming from is DHS, Department of Health, Human Service, or Department of, Child Services, right? So you might need to go to them, and they will help you to get started in that area. And they're very easy to get started because they really need somebody to be there at the school early and then after school. So then the next thing you want to do after you went to the parent teachers meetings around and find out what the schools are and what the hours are, then you want to go to the school, and you want to start with the communication department at the school, and then also the superintendent. You want to meet or either send him a letter letting him know what your intentions are, give him a phone call, and then let him drive you or direct you on that right there. So again, like I said, you might, if they don't allow it at the school, you can also contact a church, and the church would be willing to open up, because again, you'll pay them a portion of what you are making just to have the children there. And again, if you have a van, you can just take them straight to the church facility, or either possibly your own church facility, or you can take them to your house. It depends on how big your house is. It doesn't matter how you do that. You need activities, and you also need to have meals and snacks. Now, you don't necessarily need meals, but it is a nice touch if you tell the parents that we're going to give them a meal in the morning, or some sort of like cereal or breakfast in the morning. A breakfast bar is fine. Snacks in the afternoon. Usually you can get snacks real cheap from Sam's, and you can pass out either healthy snacks or what have you. It's just something for them to eat and in the afternoon. And they play pretty much. That's all they do. You might have some scheduled activity, like, for instance, homework help, which is what we do. We also help them with their homework. And so mostly you are after, mostly all you're doing is just monitoring their baby, making sure that they're safe, and making sure that they have their homework done. You also could hire somebody also to come in, because with you making approximately, you're making about $3,000 a month, you can actually hire somebody for a cost of $15 an hour to come and watch the kids for 2 hours. And so that's another thing you could do, because you won't have to be alone in doing this. You'll have well enough money to be able to, pay a couple of staff people to do that. So this is one of the ideas that doesn't cost much. It's not hard to start. So with you already having the facility, why I'm recommending that you ask the school is because you don't want to get into paying heavy overhead right now. If you want to look for a facility, let that be down the line. But I would say that, your average rent is going to possibly be your biggest expense. And so I would plan on something like $3,500 a month for rent if you were going to have a facility. And so, we paid more than that in many of the facilities that we've been in, because we had at one time we had one, two, three, let's see, we had about 4 facilities that we were running. So it's possible that those costs can be met, especially if you have the volume of children. And again, we've run children up into the hundreds, right? Because again, there are a lot of people who will need this service. So you need to just plan the location, the gym, or available spaces, and rental spaces, and those kinds of things. You can look into that. So you need to develop a plan, a business plan. I would say develop a business plan. If you need help developing a business plan, I can help you. Or again, there are many other business plans available online for that. But again, we certainly could help people with developing business plans for their next step, if they wanted to do that. So develop a business plan, and basically you're going to write down your goal, and then write down all of what you plan to do and where you plan to do it, and then how much it's going to cost and how much you expect to get in return, your profitability. So that's basically what your business plan is going to include. Then also obtain the necessary approvals. So again, obtaining the necessary approvals is just meeting with the school principal, meeting with the school board, and presenting your proposed business plan to them, and getting permission to use their facility and their school facility, which again, you can do that. Licensing, You can apply for that at child care licensing at your state child care regulatory agency, which I say again, Department of Children's Services, though that's generally where you would go. And sometimes it's not even required. In certain states, you might even look and see if it's even required. It may also involve background checks. Of course, everybody needs to go through a background check. Every staff person that you bring in, remember you are watching out for children, and make sure that when you bring children in, anytime there's going to be children involved, you want people who have a lot of integrity and are above board when it comes down to the kind of children that you're going to have in that. And then the last thing, I think you might have some liability insurance there. Liability insurance shouldn't cost you much. So you can get some insurance to make sure that if there's any accidents or injuries while they're playing or fall or anything like that, they're covered with that. Now, we also personally, we got CPR training, and CPR training is a good training to have so that you're CPR certified and everything's above board. It also looks good to the child care state agencies because, again, they require that anyway. And again, like I said, you have in your business plan, you should have your daily schedule. You should have your plan for promoting your business across to everybody. Make sure you know how you're going to do it. Now, I'm going to tell you this. What we started out, we would go out and we would put signs on corners. And you can do that on the weekend. And a lot of times in certain municipalities, you can put signs out on each corner. And each sign costs us about $20 per sign. And we put those signs out. And I'm going to tell you, nothing works better than those signs. That we put out flyers. Flyers are cool. But when it comes to those signs on the corners, they would look at those signs and they would call us up and that phone was jumping. So, and again, if you go directly to the school and you meet with the parents on parent-teacher meeting on open house day, or if you were there at the, like I said, the PTA, you can also meet with them there, and a lot of people will sign up there, and you'll have more kids than you'll know what to do with pretty soon. But then also make sure that you have an ongoing management system where once you have your system in place, you have an idea from the time you come in to the time you leave, what's going to happen and how it's going to happen. It has to be well organized, and it has to be a plan in place for when those kids come, where they're going to sit, what you're going to do with them, because you just can't bring a bunch of kids in and expect them to do what is right. You have to direct children, because the Bible says train up the children in the way that they should go so that when they're old, they won't depart from it. So anyway, you need to do that. And then with all of this coming in, you need to have a financial plan to know in the future how you're going to direct the resources that are coming in. Because don't just think, okay, I'm getting all this money and then all this money is mine. No, you need to have a financial plan that's going to be, you're going to have to pay taxes. You're going to have to look into investments. How are you going to invest a certain portion of your money in terms of your business growth? Because you want to scale this business to the point that you're able to work your way out of a job where you're going to have staff that's going to be working for you round the clock all the time. And then all you have to do is just be the brains of the operation. You need to have that plan in place, because it's just like anybody who, a beautician, a barber, a lot of times they'll get that money and it comes in their hand. And the next thing you know, they're out there buying the next set of tennis shoes or going to the beauty salon or getting their nails done. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is you want to have a financial plan in place so that when this income starts coming in, it's coming, guys. I'm telling you, when this income starts coming in, then you have a plan of how you're going to be a good steward over the resources that God has released into your hands. He doesn't want you going out buying a new car the moment you get some money and going out and get all these luxury items. What you need to do is focus on how you're going to scale your business and how you're going to make it better so that the community is served properly. So again, I told you I was going to be finished in the 30 minutes. I think I got right down to it. Hopefully this has helped you. And if it is a help, share this video with somebody else and let them know again that there is hope beyond foreclosed doors, right? And if the doors has been shut in your life, listen, guys, it's just a one door. There are so many doors of opportunity out there that it's amazing. So again, I just wanted to share this before and after care. I'll be back later to share with you some of the details about how to scale your business, and then also maybe even go into starting your own Christian school if you're a Christian, or just starting your own school, or just helping people out with drop-in services too, which are Mother's Day off services. I can show you how to do that. And so if you're interested in that, my name is Vincent Rhodes. It is on Amazon. On Amazon, I have a book called How to Start Your Own Christian School. In that book, I think it's about $5. You can go on Amazon and just purchase that book, because that will help you as well. So I wanted to make sure that you knew that the book is available. And if anybody else needs the book or anything like that, I'll send you the book, or at least I can give you the download for the book free of charge. And again, you can do that too by just contacting me and letting me know you would like to have the book, and we'll start there. Again, I just hope that you guys do well, and I will be talking to you a little bit later. God bless.